Alright, so welcome to, this is pretty much like the first EO Insider with somebody.
Okay.
And I'd like for you to introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mr. Happy. I am a YouTuber slash Twitch streamer who plays primarily Final Fantasy XIV, as well as mostly RPGs in general.
Alright, thanks. As a subscriber to you and avid fan,
Hey, thanks.
I like to say you do a really good job at this because a lot of other streamers that I watch, they don't necessarily keep up with their viewers as much as I guess that they would like to.
Well,
Yes.
it's easier to do when you have like 500 or 600. I mean, once you start getting into the thousands, like League of Legends streamers are probably the prime example of people that I don't know how they could even possibly do it. I like the number of people I stream for. It's comfortable for me. It's comfortable for everyone in the chat, and everyone can really feel like they're part of a community.
Yeah, you do a really good job, and especially with the extra life thing you did a couple months ago. Very, very, very good. It's inspiring.
Thank you. We're going for 10,000 this year. I promise.
Yeah, I was there during the stream, and I was like, man, this guy can do it, man.
You just wanted to see me Manderville. Just be
Oh,
honest.
yeah, obviously. Hey, you did it though. So
I said I would.
yeah. All right. So I think the first thing we need to get on about is you're excited for Heaven's Ward, aren't you?
Yeah, I almost had a heart attack over it today, though.
Yeah. Pre-ordering three of them. Was it three?
By accident. Well, here's the thing. I've tried to pre-order two collector's editions today, and I was successful after about an hour of refreshing and loading and yelling at my monitor. And when it went through, I got three instead, and I don't even know how that happens because the limit is set to two. So, got to decide what I want to do with that third one. If I want to keep it, cancel it, do whatever with it. But I haven't really reserved an idea for it yet. But yeah, that was. If I die to a heart attack, it'll be pre-ordering something through Square Enix.
Oh, you got 15 a little long down the line. So
Don't say that. Don't. I don't. No, please.
uh yeah, I haven't got around to pre-ordering mine. I'm just gonna get the digital collector's edition.
Smart man. Save
Yeah.
yourself the trouble.
Yeah. Well, not only that, just I don't feel like paying 130 bucks for it. I love 14, love it. Like I spend most of my time on it and I can't play any other game because of it. But yeah. I don't think I can spend 130 of it all at once.
Yeah, it's I had to actually math everything out to justify it. I was like, oh, the statue is 30 and the Blu-ray is probably 20 and the book is 20. I don't know. But I just had to rationalize it first.
Yeah. I'm content with what the digital gives you. Again, you get the mount, you get what else was it? You get all the nice little the minion, the headgear, even though I'm not that big of a fan of 4.
You get a Fantasia also.
You get a Fantasia, which I'm going to use because I said if Square can do anything that can make me change from a cat girl is make me switch to a dragon lady.
And that's exactly what they did.
Yep. Now I just need to change my name to Shyvana.
Is it going to be Shivana or is it going to be like Shivana and then
Like from
some?
League, Shyvana.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, gotta go
Yeah.
two
I don't
names.
know. I don't know. I don't know
Because
what.
if you go Shivana with first and last, people are going to call you Shivana.
Oh yeah, true. Hmm.
Find out if she has a last name
Yeah, I will.
or
I'll
something.
have to try that out.
Oh,
Yeah.
use her subtitle, whatever it is.
Oh yeah.
The Half Dragon.
Yeah, the half dragon.
Shavana Half Dragon. There you go. There's your name.
Oh yeah.
I
Because that's
got you.
literally what they are. They're like half dragons.
That's exactly what that's in the title.
Yeah, and I'm surprised they're walking around Ishgard.
Yeah, well, I'm sure there'll be guillotines and stuff, but we'll worry about that later.
All right. So what are you most anticipated for? Like, not just like Heaven's Ward wise, but like 14 in general.
See, it's a hard thing. I've been playing MMOs for more than half of my life. So I'm never really hype about one thing in particular. I always just like new and exciting places to go and stories to hear and just seeing how the development team is growing and learning how to develop new stuff. That's really where my interests lie. Mostly because I went to college for game development and therefore that's what interests me about it. But if I had to lay down one mechanic, it's probably free company crafting, although not the 3.0 iteration, the 3.1 iteration, where we'll be able to use these airships to fly to uncharted areas with special bosses or unique gathering materials. It almost feels like they really are trying to make it at least a little bit more complex than it is now in A Realm Reborn. A lot more options with the way that you play.
Yeah, I certainly can't wait for the whole world of Heaven's Word just to like to be expanded because what they showed us in the tour of the North, it looked like this place is going to be huge.
Yeah, there was one concern though. Originally, they said flying mounts would be slower than being on the ground. That is absolutely not the case in the trailer. I don't know if that's just because they wanted to be able to show off a bigger area, or if that's going to be the actual speed of the mount. People are worried about that because I want a reason to explore the ground. I don't want to just fly over everything, and I feel like that is a legitimate concern of people who have played other MMOs like World of Warcraft. But it's too early to judge. We don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I think in most parts, like with the whole floating islands, I forget what that city's called.
Which one?
The one near the floating continent.
I think that was the Sea of Clouds. A lot of I'm not going to spoil anything, but people suspect that might have something to do with another story element we've already been introduced to, though.
Yeah, I think with that area, it might be okay with the speed of the flying mounts because it looks like you're probably going to actually have to have those flying mounts to get to certain places.
Yeah, and that was the one strength I thought about going into Heaven's Word is that flying mounts, when they came out in WoW, were kind of just there. There was a few areas you could get to only with those that were like a couple of daily areas. But other than that, you literally could fly so high to the point you couldn't even see the ground. And
Yeah.
what are you doing at that point? What's the point in it all? Having a flying mount that's required to move around the world makes it feel like it's less of just an additional feature and more of a necessity.
Yeah. I only wonder if you're able to fly to the floating continent.
I see. That's the thing. Okay, me and other people think it may be the 24-man raid just because of the way they kind of showed him flying towards it and then backed off and kind of did like tidbits of areas from Heaven's Word. Not all of them were
Kind of like
from,
what they did with the Crystal Tower.
yeah, exactly. But the thing is, they said the new raid was gonna be a Final Fantasy original. It wasn't gonna pull from old inspirations. Now that was a long time ago that they said that. I couldn't even find a source if I wanted to. I'd have to look through so much old information to find it. But I'd be surprised if they decided to go with the floating continent. It really didn't help that it looked like it was all Allegan. So who even knows? I'm looking forward to just exploring the world and really seeing how much of this is necessary and how much of it is visual fluff.
Yeah. Well, it's just going to be amazing no matter what.
That's my. I listen. We agree there. That's what we agree.
Another thing I want to ask you, story predictions, like with 2.55 and Heaven's Ward in general, what do you think is going to like happen down the line? Because I know we got the Dragon Song War coming up.
So yeah, that Dragon Song War, that's actually going to be a big part. We also learned about the 7 evil Worm Kings, and we've gotten a name of some of them, like Tiamat. Nidhogg is likely one of them, mentioned in the Dragoon storyline in A Realm Reborn. There was also one other one I can't remember, and there's also going to be even more story about Bahamut. There's going to be more background about his entrapment in Dalamud and how he's related, I guess, to the Dravanians. I'd always kind of just suspected he came from another brood, which was sort of, implied with recent content updates. But he might actually have some sort of influence with the Dravanians, and we may not be done with him just yet.
I bet you that makes people feel bad about downing turn 13 and like, oh no, here comes Bahamut again.
Well, I think now it's going to be more of like, we learned everything from his perspective. We've learned everything from our perspective, but we've never actually seen the history he had. Like, what was he actually, other than just an ancient dragon of the Mericidians? What was his role when he was first created? And I think that we're really going to go back to his creation and his entrapment, really learn more about him, but not actually bring him back to the point where we're expecting him to come back and fight again. We're not going to have more binding coils.
Yeah, that would suck. Yeah, totally. Another thing, the mention of Omega.
Yeah, Omega got a very brief mention in the story, like 9 months ago or something like that, and literally fell off the face of the earth. We literally just know that there's an antagonist that's trying to gain control over Omega to gain control over the realm, an antagonist that's different from the Garleans, that's different from Bahamut, but we know that his power is supposed to be on par with Bahamut's. That's the direct correlation that's made to it. So the we did hear from a recent interview Omega will play an important role in the story going forward. The question is just what is that role? We've already taken out Ultima. What is Omega's role actually going to be? He is the other big weapon. And even more so, where Omega usually comes Shinryu in previous Final Fantasy games, and he is a dragon that we may actually end up seeing in Heaven's Word as well.
All very interesting.
I like the theory. I like to come up with theories.
Yeah. Oh, I do the same thing when it comes to like Kingdom Hearts and stuff. It's just like right there.
I just need something to believe in.
Oh yeah, definitely. Uh, Another thing a bit is though, like where would they even bring in Omega if he comes in like during like the Heaven's Word expansion? Because like we've already got Alexander, which obviously nobody knows what's going to go on in there. But like obviously, and they're not going to make him like easy in the, like a 24-man raid. So where would you put Omega at if he ever comes back?
I want you to think about what you just said and then think about the Dungeon Keeper of the Lake.
Oh yeah.
Nobody thought Midgard Summer was going to be a 4-man boss either. The thing about Omega is he's in an inactive state and he would need to be refurbished almost similar to the way Ultima Weapon was. There's a good chance he never gets the opportunity to fully refurbish, or we don't actually fight him necessarily in the expansion, but he's just expanded upon more. Maybe the next expansion will have the Garleans, take him and try to refurbish him, and we'll be trying to push back against them so that we can't let them have this weapon. That's an entire possibility, but I think we'll learn a lot more about that in 2.55. Ul'dah is a very, very centric point of 2.55 Part 2. So that's really where Omega has come into it all, is in the political problems in that city-state. So we may learn a little bit more about it. But even with Omega, I'm not expecting to fight him. If we do, it's a weakened version.
That's another thing I want to touch up on with Ul'dah. It seems like in the trailers that a lot of stuff's about to happen in Ul'dah, especially with was it Palamo and what's the monk
Talk about
girls? Yeah.
Oh, Ida and Papalamo?
Yeah.
Well,
with them fighting in there, you think like Teleji Adeleji's gonna make his move?
I think that there's going to be an attempt of an assassination. I suspect the assassination will be successful, but I think they want us to think that it's not necessarily going to be the truth. But I think they're really going to be fighting to protect the Sultana, who I'm almost positive there's going to be an assassination attempt against in 2.55.
Yes, which is going to be very sad if it actually succeeds.
Yeah, the trailer doesn't help me think otherwise either. The trailer really makes you think that she's on her way out. Like they want you to feel stressed and worried that something really, really bad just happened.
It might be like one of the final scenes within 2.55 as well.
I think the final scenes are going to take place in Ishgard, because we need to eventually open it up. It may be something that just kind of happens right after we've settled with Ishgard, but I'd find a hard time believing that we need to kind of settle the score with Ishgard, and then it goes into the story of Nanamo, the Sultana, being in trouble. I think that'll happen first, and at the same time we'll be dealing with Ishgard. But who knows? We got March 31st to find that out.
Yeah, cannot wait. Especially with them putting tombstones within WAD. Or actually, from what I heard, they might do it in the actual quest for it, like
that's where all the items are going. Don't expect to see carbon coats or twines actually dropping. Expect they want people to be able to say, I did these things, I got my item for the week. That is what they ultimately. They don't want people rolling against each other for the tombstones or for the carbon coats or anything. Not like that'll matter in 2.55, because there won't be a gear limit, but that might make it even worse, because then everyone just rolls on it regardless.
Indeed. I know I probably won't grab my weapon. I just hit my Zeta, and I really don't know if I want to replace it just yet.
Your Zeta's probably your best option anyway. So
Yeah,
maybe for an alternate job, but no, no, no. Do not replace the Zeta.
too much work went into that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, what do you think the best part about A Realm Reborn in general is? Like from the first time you played it back in August of 2012, was it?
Oh man. Well, I guess that depends on if you want to talk about A Realm Reborn or you want to talk about 1.0 because I've been playing since 1.0.
Oh, well, I don't want to talk about 1.0 because that
No,
was
yeah, I was gonna say I don't think anybody wants to. A Realm Reborn came out August of 2013. It's been out
2013. Yeah,
for about a year and a half now.
yeah, it's closing up on 2 years.
Yeah, closing up. It'll be just before the 2 year mark when Heavensward launches. It'll be I think 22 months.
Yeah.
My favorite part, I don't know. I've grown up with Final Fantasy, and I think that the Final Fantasy feel has always been a big thing that draws me to the Final Fantasy MMOs. This one especially had a kind of a classic take on the story, going back to the whole origin of it being about crystals and a more kind of generic evil as opposed to trying to make these super elaborate villains. However, it has elaborated on the villains, given them a lot more substance since that basic introduction. And as long as there's more story to find out, I'm always down for it. I also really like the raid content and the level of difficulty it's set at. I'm not a fan of super large raid tiers with tons of filler like bosses. I prefer the smaller raid tiers with interesting bosses. But I think the one thing that comes down to is it's one of the MMOs I feel like I want to dedicate a lot of time to, but I always have this thought in the back of my head that I don't necessarily need to do all this. I actually have time to play other MMOs or other games in general, try other things out. Something that I gave away when I played MMOs the rest of my life. And you'd say that maybe for the sake of the MMO success, that knowing that, I'm so far ahead that I have all these things done, knowing that I can go and play another game comfortably might be a bad thing. But I'm the kind of person who can maintain that interest in the game while playing other games. I'm always excited for something new. But I've missed so many games in my life playing MMOs just because I convinced myself I had no time for anything else. And I feel like that doesn't happen with Final Fantasy XIV. It keeps me wanting to play it, keep coming back for every patch.
Yeah, I can totally understand that because I've played a lot of WoW. I've got a 100 Druid in WoW. I've got a 60 in Terra. Uh, I've almost got a max level in the Old Republic, but I had to stop playing that because it was just too much for me. But
Sounds like it.
yeah, yeah. 14 was like the only MMO that I can play consistently and pay for consistently and justify that I can pay for it.
Yeah, I mean, even if because the patches have kind of alternated between hardcore and casual, and they've openly said that that's a kind of an expectation where they want to, raise the bar, give people a new greatest challenge, and then kind of have a patch that everybody can enjoy. And because those patches come so frequently, something I'm not used to in any of the other MMOs I've played, it makes people go, huh, I think I'm going to resub now. Or, oh, maybe I'll resub for this. Or maybe I'll unsub now and resub when I know that the more hardcore patch is coming or the other, content for everyone kind of patch is coming. It makes it so that you can comfortably unsub and resub, or you could just say sub the whole time if you actually enjoy everything because the content's coming so frequently.
Exactly. And that's just how I feel about it because, like I said, I played a lot of WoW, and it's just like when I hit 14, I was like, this is so much better.
Wow, when you unsub, you almost unsub until an entire other expansion comes out.
Yeah, exactly. Because I subbed back when that WoD came out, and I got to 100, and I realized like all my Druid abilities were gone, and I'm like, what is going on here? Like healers in general right now, from what I hear in WoW, is just actually pretty bad. So
I haven't been keeping up. I keep up in WoD or I keep up in WoW news, but not necessarily the status of the individual classes or anything. I have a few friends who keep me posted on theirs, like Warlock or whatnot. But from what I understand, WoD was a lot of people were very surprised. WoD's first raid tier was what, 7 bosses, and on the mythic difficulty, which is the hardest, it actually took less time to die than Final Fantasy XIV's 4 boss tier. And some people have reported this to be the easiest boss tier in Final Fantasy XIV. So to think that our easiest boss tier took more time to beat than WoW's most recent, not I guess most difficult boss tier was kind of surprising.
yeah, not a lot of imagination there in Blizzard right now, apparently.
Yeah, but you do have to keep in mind that Blizzard does have multiple difficulties. They do have more accessibility. And on top of that, They do develop, I guess, more grander raids, in all honesty. They feel 14s do feel more like a boss rush, whereas WoWs tend to actually feel like I've entered this big area. There's secrets here, there's things I don't know. Moving forward, it's going to be dangerous. Where in 14, I honestly don't feel like that's there as much. WoW has done a good job over the years of developing this grand world. And I think 14 is still in the infancy process of doing that. Heavensward being a good step forward.
Indeed. What would you say would be the worst part between 2.0 and 2.55?
Oh man. Probably the Zodiac quest line. Yeah, it's a quest line where it's, as opposed to learning to play your job well and playing with 7 other people to master a difficult fight or anything along those lines to get a strong weapon, you instead invest a lot of time. There's a lot of random drops involved in it. There's a lot of grinding involved in it. And that's supposed to be the idea, because you're either going to spend a lot of time grinding this weapon with some RNG, or you're going to spend a lot of time learning those fights, mastering everything, finding 7 other people to play with, and then every week still hoping that it's your weapon that drops. So I feel like the trade-off is fair, but that doesn't make the Zodiac questline any more enjoyable. My number one piece of advice for that questline has been buy a Netflix account.
Exactly. Well, actually, I went through without doing Netflix.
Did you have Hulu?
Oh, dude, I didn't do anything. I sat there and looked at my screen all the time, waiting for all those Atma drops.
You should see my face right now, because
Actually, to be fair, I got my Atma drops in a day, all of them, and that was before.
That I can believe, because it took me two or 3 days, but it still only took me about 20 hours total, and I knew people that had better luck than me. That doesn't surprise me as much as you think it does.
Yeah, and I didn't even use that like hey, if you use the Japanese
no.
standard time,
existed, please.
It worked for this guy, so it works for everybody else.
It works for, hey, it happened to me. I got 2 drops immediately. Oh no, it doesn't work. Stop.
But I got that part done pretty quickly. Animus took a little time.
Dude, when the Animus first came out, it was a disaster. 270 Brayflox hard modes. Plus the books themselves, plus waiting for the fates, plus the low-level dungeon queues as a DPS.
Oh, thank God I was a healer.
Oh, yeah. Great for you. Congratulations.
Oh, well, I understand the DPS queues, man. When I was leveling up my Scholar, doing 1 to 30 to Arcane is terrible. Terrible.
Horrible experience. I just recently leveled up a new character for a new YouTube series, and I went to level my subclass for it, which was, Thaumaturge, because it's the white mage that I'm leveling. And I was like, oh, I can't do this. I can't. There's no. It wasn't even that long. It was like 10 to 15 minutes, to be honest. But I just couldn't. After playing the healer on the same character, I was like, nope. Just get swift cast. Be done with it. I'm done.
Yeah. Thaumaturge is such a terrible class before 30.
Oh yeah, and it's also the most boring class in all existence before like 36 or something like that. That definitely didn't help.
Yeah, as soon as I hit 26 on Thaumaturge, I was like, done with this class. Going back to my white mage.
Yeah, good idea. I still need to do Arcanist for Eye for an Eye and Virus. I guess I'll do it.
Eye for an Eye is a pretty good ability. Love that ability.
Yeah, I'll just pretend like I'm gonna have a Scholar that'll be the only person who needs to do it every single time, or a Summoner. They can do it. I don't want to do it.
I actually got a question from a writer from the site. He said wanted to know, he hasn't played 14 in quite a while, or like for somebody that hasn't played 14 in quite a while, what would be a reason to come back and actually like come back and play it?
New patch, get ready for the expansion. I mean, a lot of the times there's some fall off before an expansion, but like a month or so before it comes out, there's usually that surge of players coming back or new players getting ready for it. I would come back just to check out the things that I've missed, and if anything else, prepare my character for the expansion. Get every class to 30. Decide, do I want to level some gatherers or some crafters going forward with the new systems that are going to be in place? Do I want to do some of these harder fights so I can be more prepared for Alexander normal, or if I'm planning on it, Alexander hard mode? There's a lot of reasons one can come back. Gold Saucer, Chocobo Racing, Triple Triad, if you're down for spending a lot of time getting those cards. There's a lot of different reasons. I think the ultimate thing is Did you have fun the last time you played? Yeah. Are you looking for a fresh new experience? Are you bored with the other games you have right now? Yeah. $15. Throw it down, monthly fee. Play it for a month. If you decide you don't like it again, it's always there waiting for you.
Exactly. Now, another thing, like you have to finish the 2.55 quest to get in the Ishgard, right?
Oh God.
Yeah. So, actually, this is actually a good question because I thought of this on my own. I didn't have like any outside internet experience with this.
Yeah.
When it comes to guild spammers, they're usually set up in an area, all right?
Yeah.
And when people just come into that area, they're just like spam, 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 spam.
Yeah, usually the city states or Mordona are the most common things. And once they've pinged you once, they send you the tell repeatedly, regardless of which area you're in. It's just about entering that area and then they ping you and that's it.
So would this needing the quest to go in there inadvertently make Ishgard kind of a safe haven from that?
It actually might. What I guess if they can search the area, it depends on if the algorithm that they use is their current area versus the just an area in the algorithm itself. They could just add Ishgard to the slash teller, the slash search algorithm, and that might completely bypass that being a safe haven. Or expect to see a lot more black mages under the ground killing enemies with positional hacks.
I've actually found a few bots up at that one ledge in Mordona, like past the fate where Black and
Where the
Nibiru is.
plasmoids are?
Yeah, the plasmoids, and like four of them just sitting there, like doing that. I'm like, what the hell, man? And so I reported them. So hopefully they got off my server. So
I actually found I found a group of them that were underground and they were teleport hacking under the ground so people couldn't see them doing the teleport hacking. But I saw an enemy hitting nothing. It was just aggro to somebody and it was attacking someone that was underground. So I just targeted the enemy, did target to target, and I was like, I can see you down there.
bots, man, they're so annoying sometimes.
I don't know what it is. I mean, World of Warcraft has had some crazy bot problems in the past. I remember there used to be a time where there would be like 500 accounts that would all hack into the game at the same time. And they would positionally hack their characters to make the name of the website appear in the big towns using the characters' bodies to spell out the name of the website.
That's really
insane.
elaborate.
It's extremely elaborate and hilarious to watch. But I mean, 14 hasn't hit that point yet, but the tells are just
So annoying.
they're there. Yeah,
And then you have a limited blacklist list as well. So it's like you only have like what 200 people in your blacklist.
yeah, they need to include a multiple. They need to do an option for the blacklist that allows you to remove all deleted.
Yeah. Or they just
Because
need to expand like your blacklist in general.
I'd rather they expand my inventory.
Yeah. So you're getting Type 0 tomorrow. It's gonna come to your house tomorrow, right?
Now you're making me want to check my email just to double check. Sure, where is it? Your Square Enix order is on its way. In transit, on time. Delivered, business days left 1. That better mean it's here by tomorrow. I'm going to be very upset.
You're gonna be streaming that tomorrow.
I'm going to be streaming 15 first and foremost tomorrow. That's the first thing I want to stream. And
How many
that's
times are you gonna go through 15?
Oh, dude, probably 20 hours worth at least. It's
Man.
supposed to be about 3 hours, I guess, if you do 3 or 4 hours if you do everything. But I want to... If they're hiding anything, I'm going to find it.
Dude, that's how it was with the Lightning Returns demo. Even though Lightning Returns, the game itself is, I don't want to talk about it. But I was actually 6th in the United States on the Lightning Returns demo.
Ooh, nice. I don't remember where I was on it, but that was a lot of fun. I actually really liked that aspect about the demo.
But when the game came out, I got like halfway through the game, and I was like, man, this game is not what I wanted it to be.
I really like the combat of Lightning Returns. I
Oh,
just couldn't
yeah.
stand the story. The story was beyond salvation. I couldn't care less about what was actually going on in the game, and that was, I don't know. I still platinumed the game. I'll take some pride in that, I guess.
I platinumed the 13-2 the week it came out.
So did I. I platinumed 13-2 in 20 hours.
I was like, this game was so easy. They needed to add like a higher difficulty in it.
Yeah, but I mean, 13-2 had also really good combat. I think 13-2 made me realize I didn't hate 13's combat as much as I thought I did.
Oh yeah, same here.
Looking back, Final Fantasy 13 just I guess I just wasn't invested in the world. But the way I play 90% of Final Fantasy games is spam auto attack to grind levels anyway. I guess I couldn't really complain that they just put it all in one button.
True. This is really true. I think the thing that I hated most about Lightning Returns was the fact that it didn't have an exact level system.
Yeah, doing it through the quests was kind of weird. It took away that whole like, oh, I just want to go out into the world and kill stuff to get levels. A lot of classic Final Fantasy fans love that. You know, we say we hate it in Final Fantasy XIV, but we love it otherwise. And that wasn't there. I mean, there were other reasons to go out into the world and spam kill everything.
It was just hard to tell how strong you were.
Yeah, it was like this enemy can kill me or
Yeah.
it can't. That's it.
It's like, I don't know if this enemy can kill me. I'm gonna walk up to it, hit it, and then it's one hit you. It's like, well, can't kill it.
Nope, can't because you just can't gauge your strength as well because there's no level system giving you an approximation of any kind.
Exactly. Then, other than that, like I didn't beat the game. I got to the end, got to Benevelze. Couldn't beat his fourth form because I apparently did not have anything that could stagger him. And I was like, screw it. Did the new game plus, played like 5 minutes of it, put it down, never touched it again.
He was actually, I think that was one of the better last bosses of the series, especially if you fight him on New Game Plus. He is beyond ridiculously hard on New Game Plus.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to keep getting Lightning infinitely stronger.
Nah, man, you got to do it. You got to do it without that. You got to turn that off and just do it the difficult way.
Do it with no abilities, no.
I didn't say that. This isn't Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. I don't do no ability runs.
Or no level runs.
Or no level runs. Yeah, we definitely don't do that in Lightning Returns. There are no levels anyway. Every run's a no level run.
Oh yeah, this is true. So they mentioned that Square mentioned that they were going to do some quality of life changes between now and Heaven's Ward. What would you like? What's one of the main things you want to see as quality of life change?
Most of the time they do quality of life changes I never would have even thought of, and I'm just like, oh wow, that's cool. Yeah, this game needed that, and I could just there's always a way to make things better, and a lot of the times I never think of them. So a lot of the quality of life changes they've already announced are, Final Coil Bahamut's going to be in the Duty Finder, and over time they're going to add Echo to it so more players can access it. The World of Darkness gear limit is going to be removed. The Encrypted Tombstone is going to be added to the weekly quest. A big one is the MGP rewards from the Gold Saucer are going to be improved across the board, whether it be the gate events or whether it be the Chocobo Racing or the Triple Triad numbers. So it's going to be easier to get that coveted Fenrir mount without hitting the Jumbo Cact bot. I've also got more information, actually. Just before this, I had my friend who's a translator. He's been going through the Japanese forums, and he's been mentioning things about like reducing the cost of MGP to get items for your Chocobo Racing, talking about rebalancing the items for Chocobo Racing. So a lot of it is just Gold Saucers where I want to spend more time, but there are a lot of things that aren't very well thought out there that I want quality of life changes to. And I guess that's really the only place I really want them. I want them to save all the good stuff for the expansion.
Yeah, it's a very yeah. Though I don't step inside the Gold Saucer that much. Actually, I say that, but like I'm pretty sure my character is like AFK'd in it right now.
Yeah, you AFK there and log in once a day and do your mini cactpot.
Yeah, I do the mini cactpot because I'm just like I want to get the gambler coat.
Yeah, and that's actually within reach with mini cacts. Strangely.
And then I go to do some triple triad, but I completely suck at triple triad. So, and I don't even touch the gate events, so it's just like.
They're pretty good sometimes. There's a lot of drama around the one where if you get knocked off, you just fail. Everyone's just like, yes, no.
I haven't tried that one yet, but I tried doing the Simon Says one, and I'm just like, what in the world is going on here?
I never used these emotes. Why do you need me to use these emotes all of a sudden?
Why am I trying to do what this chick's doing over here?
And then you just realize you don't know any of the emotes in the game.
Nope. So there's a benchmark coming out in April.
Yeah.
You doing that?
So A benchmark is basically a program for the PC that's primary use is to judge how well your PC can run the game. It's why they don't have one for like the consoles because the game's designed to be good enough on the consoles. You don't have to worry about that. But there is a character creation aspect to it, and the Al Ra, the new race, is going to be part of the benchmark. There's going to be new weapon skills being shown off, new areas being shown off, new enemies being shown off. So it's supposed to be about 9 minutes long, and I hope I can score pretty good on it. I mean, I have a decent computer at the very least, and it's just for bragging rights. Just be like, yeah, that's how good my computer is. Ran the benchmark at 10,200. Oh yeah, I'm good to go. I'm looking
Uh,
to it.
yeah, I'm gonna get it as well. I don't have that good of. Well, I have a decent computer, but
Hey, you can at
uh,
least do the character creation.
oh yeah, that's actually the main reason why I want to do it. How much of it do you think is gonna be like actually like walking around or anything? Because I know like part of it's gonna be like the the video with Bismarck.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to have control. Just keep that in mind. You don't actually ever take control of your character. They just take your character and put it in a filler spot and basically play it in a movie. That's how it works for the most part. And 9 minutes is pretty sizable. The benchmark that we still have for A Realm Reborn, I think it's only 6 minutes long, and it shows you, riding around on a chocobo through the areas. It shows people fighting enemies and doing fates and things like that. It shows off a bunch of enemies that never existed in the game in A Realm Reborn. That a lot of them just seemed like borrowed ideas from Final Fantasy XI, just for the sake of showing all these different things on the screen and really judging how well your game would be able to run in these high intensity scenarios. And then, of course, showing off new limit breaks. We are expecting the Dragoon one to get shown off this time around based on an interview Yoshi P did with Famitsu. And on top of that, really, the Aura being a big thing. Seeing their animations, how they interact, new mounts, new flying mounts specifically. Um, I think it's something that even if you see somebody else do it, you're going to want to check it out mostly for the character creation.
Exactly. Yeah, I just want to see what my idea of what my Outlaw is going to look like. Because I wonder what type of hair they're going to have.
Yeah.
That's actually the main part, is just the hair.
They also they said not every, they want to try and get every option available in the benchmark, but there's probably going to be some missing. So if you don't see something you like, it may be there when the game actually launches.
Oh, I'll probably figure out something I like within the
Okay.
benchmark. Yeah. So I'm going to talk about classes, and as a healer myself, because I main healer, I try not to touch DPS classes because I'm not a DPSer. I just like healing.
Fair enough.
I wasn't too impressed when they first released Astrologian, or like first like announced that this is going to be the new healing class, and then they came out with the information like a week ago with
Oh yeah.
with how it's going to work out, and I was like, I might be switching mains.
I think we still need to learn more, but it definitely sounds like it's trying to set itself apart or even be potentially a good match for either Scholar or White Mage to be in the same party as it. Of course, that's the biggest concern is we have White Mage and Scholar that complement each other so well. How does this third healer really fit into it? And we learned about a healer stance and a barrier stance. Now, people are worried that because they have both these stances, they might be just better than both White Mage and Scholar. We don't really know what the barrier stance itself does yet. Perhaps it makes it so you don't even heal the opponent, you just place shields on them, which makes it kind of like half of an Eloquium, whereas the heals are, direct heals that, don't do as much as White Mages, but they have other strengths. We also have the drawing of the cards from your deck. We learned that it is going to be random which card you draw, but you are able to keep the card and draw another one later and actually combine them to increase its overall power. So it's interesting. It definitely sounds like a very reactive healer because if you get a certain card, you have to make that decision on the fly. Do I want to use this? Do I want to save it? It's not, okay, I press this button at this time and it'll do this automatically. So it definitely sounds interesting. I want to see the numbers behind it all. And I don't know. It made me a lot more excited. Scholar is the healer I love playing now. I play it all the time. But I don't know, man. I might have to change my secondary to Astrologian.
Yeah, I know. When I was like looking at it, I was like, this seems like more like I'm a white mage main because like I got my scholar to 50 actually not too long ago, and I jumped from like 45 to like 122, which I think healer sharing gear is actually kind of bad. Um, but I looked at that and I was like, the Astrologian kind of seemed more of like my style of healing, even though my style of healing is more like the bursty mage or whatever. But this seems more like the buff type of mage.
Yeah, it doesn't seem as linear as the other two, where one is the reactive, one is the proactive. This one seems to be a mix of both, and it's probably going to have some burst capabilities. Scholar does, so I don't expect Astrologian to not have it. It's just going to be about defining the strengths and weaknesses of every healer now, and justifying why you would want to bring an Astrologian over a Scholar or a White Mage.
Exactly. Though I think, in my opinion, white mages might still stay as like a static in most groups.
Listen, Stoneskin 2 and Protect having the magic defense, it's going to be hard to
Yeah,
replace them.
definitely.
Unless Astrologian has something like that, but I don't know that they will.
Yeah, true. Yeah. It's hard to tell. And I like the randomness of the astral the star deck or whatever, because like
Yeah,
we don't even know what's gonna be in it. So
yeah, we have no idea. For all, well, I think they showed off like 6 cards, not the effects themselves, but 6 different cards that you can draw from it. So it's just one of those things where we want to be hype about it, and then you think about it, and you're like, wow, I really don't know anything at all.
yeah, exactly.
So please look forward to it. Hype.
um, so enough for like 14 or anything. How did you like know that you wanted to do stuff with games, like not just streaming in general, but like you said, you have your degree in game design. How did you know you wanted to do that?
Well, when I was young, the first thing I ever really did was play video games. I mean, I got hand-me-down NES and SNES. I don't even know who they were handed down from. I had an older sister, but she hated video games, so they definitely weren't hers. And, I got an N64 when I was a kid. I got my PlayStation the next year. I got a PlayStation 2. I got a GameCube. I had a Game Boy. I had a Game Boy Color. I didn't have an Advance. I stopped buying the handhelds after that. But I had the Sega Game Gear before that. I used to be at my friend's house playing his Genesis and his Saturn. I just played video games nonstop. It was the one thing I felt comfortable doing. It was the one place where it was a hobby, it was a social tool, it was an escape. It was everything that I kind of needed it to be. And I got older and I started being more interested in the actual developmental process of it. How do they decide they want to do this? How do they decide that this is where they hide this item? Who thinks of these Easter eggs? I just started questioning everything. And with the questions came curiosity, and I wanted to know. So I went into college. I learned a bit of programming. I worked on a few games. I actually feel bad because I was talking about a school project that I had to do in one of those game design courses, which, by the way, everyone in the game design course in my college was awful, minus a few people. Like, way too lazy to be game developers. And I was talking about how I had a partner for a project, and the partner I had messed everything up. He programmed the game. He used a bad algorithm, so he couldn't modify certain things, and somehow he got a B+ in that project still, even though the game was horrible. And somebody in my chat one day said, "Hi, I remember that. I was the guy from the math class." And I was thinking, there's no way that's my partner. That's no way. There's no way this guy in the chat. Next day, I got a follow on Twitter. It was him.
Wow.
The guy I just made fun of. I was like, I feel like such a bad person now. But I think he knows that it was the truth. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. But it was so bad. It was so bad. I hope you've gotten better since then. Oh yeah. And then it was just, I got through college, and honestly, I actually did not finish college. I realized that I wasn't learning anything in college. Everything was self-taught. So while the degree was something well, obviously everyone will tell you is needed, I felt like everything I had learned, I didn't learn from any of my teachers. I went out of my way to teach myself how to do things. So with that in mind, I said if I ever want to go back and finish, I can. I have the knowledge that I want, and I already had a job waiting for me outside of college, working in tech support in New York City. And while I was working there, I just started making YouTube videos. Whatever, not a big deal. It was always my dream job, but I wasn't the kind of person who was going to drop everything to try and do it. Like, I don't think that's the right mentality to go. And you do it because you want to do it, because you have fun creating content about video games. You don't do it because you don't just sit that, wake up one day like, that's what I'm going to do, and that's all I'm going to do is make videos on YouTube. Don't do that if you're watching this. It's not a good idea. You just got to do it because you want to express yourself and create content. And that's how I express myself. My whole life was through video games. And so I just started doing it and people started watching it and it took off from there. I mean, I've had a lot of help. I have, my girlfriend who has helped me since the beginning, making overlays for the Twitch streams, giving me ideas for YouTube. So big shout out to her. I also had some help from a very popular YouTuber and Twitch streamer named Athene Live, or Athene LOL. He's had a few different names. I helped him with some charity events, raised tens of thousands of dollars for the Save the Children Foundation. And he hooked me up with a YouTube contract, and I just kind of took it from there. And it worked out, and I love doing what I do. I consider myself blessed that I get to have the job that everybody says they want growing up. I want to play video games for a living. I get to have that job, and it's not even really a job to me. It is an actual career. A job implies that it's something I get tired of doing, and I don't. I love having the viewers come by. I love having people that enjoy my content, and I even love people hating my content, because if you don't have haters, you're not doing something right. So
Them happy haters.
happy haters. Shout out to LBR. Yeah, it's just been a wild ride. My whole life, it's kind of been leading up to this, and now it's a matter of what I do with it from here.
Exactly. You've done, from what I've seen, you've done everything right in your streams. I come back even at work. When I'm at work, I'm on break. I'm like, dude,
work is when everybody comes to the stream because they're like, oh God, I hate this. I hate my job so much. Please, I don't even have the video open. Just I'm listening to you. Just keep me sane, please.
I have it. Twitch goes to my email, tells me. Hey,
oh, you actually get the emails from Twitch?
Yeah, I actually get the emails from Twitch.
Some people still have trouble with that.
All right, it's like, hey, Mr. Happy Gaming's, he's online. I was like, well,
6 hours ago.
Well, gotta tune in to Mr. Happy right now.
Yeah, and I always appreciate it, man. I always see you every time you come by the stream. I always make sure to say hello. Try to say hello to everybody. I miss a few people here and then, but it's hard. It's hard keeping up with the chat sometimes. I just try my hardest.
Yeah, you do a real good job. And then
thank you.
You get my $5 every month.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, that's why if you sub to the stream, I'm always like, yo, please use the emotes because you're paying for them.
Yeah. Always you gotta use Joycey and Love, man.
Well, Joycey, I mean, it's pretty representative of me. So if any of those is like, all of them are like my face pretty much.
Yeah.
But this one is the one that's actually me.
Yeah. Like I said, you do a good job.
Thank you.
Well, I have seemed to run out of questions.
Did you just flip the page and there were no questions on the next page?
Yeah, it was actually this little strip of paper that I was just writing down topics on, and I was just like, and I got down to the bottom.
You're like, oh. I don't want to be.
Actually covered 47 minutes of it.
Yeah, it was good, man. I had a lot of fun. I don't get to really answer these questions very often, or people don't ask very often. So it's always nice getting to just do something a little bit more relaxed and talk about whatever. I don't care. I'll answer most questions.
And we'll go ahead and stop this recording.